Okay, so you've got your samples in the right format, which is the WAV format, and now you need to put them onto the compact flash card so you can import them into your Roland SPD-S. So we can see here that I've got a whole bunch of WAV files, and I'm going to choose a few to put them onto my compact flash card. Now my compact flash card is here. On my computer it's the F drive, on your computer it will be something different, but it will probably be called Roland SPD-S. So we can open that, and we can see on the SPD-S card itself there's only one folder and it's called Roland. Now the important thing here is you do not want to put your samples into that folder. If you put them in there, then put them in the SPD-S won't see them. You need to put them into the root directory, so basically onto, in this case, the F drive, but not in that folder. So I'm going to drag this file called car horn, this file called car start, and what else shall we have? Oh, this one here, this compressed snare file. So I'll drag that onto the root directory. So starting again on here, there's my Roland card, go into it, there are my WAV samples, and they're not in that Roland folder. Once you've got all your WAV files into the root directory of your compact flash card, you can put them back into the SPD-S. Now we can turn the SPD-S back on, wait for it to boot up. Now the more samples that you actually have on your card, the longer this will take, so we'll shorten the process a little bit here. So to import your samples, hold the Shift key down and press Setup. You can see the display lights up and says File Import. Press Enter, and it will show you the first sample that's stored in the root directory of your card. In this case it's a car horn sample. So we'll press the right arrow key, and it asks you what grade you want to use for this particular sample. You have three choices: standard grade, or if you use the minus button you can go to long, or if you use the plus button you can go to fine. Now to be absolutely honest, I suppose you would use the fine mode if you had a particularly high quality sample that you were using in a studio. For most of the time, for me, when we played live, I just import everything as standard. And you can see it's stereo as well because it's got the little S icon next to it. I can't really tell a huge difference live work between standard and fine. I would use long if I was importing a really long sample. Sometimes I've got some 25-minute samples that we use between sets of different music all mixed together. So I would use long for that. Otherwise everything else goes in as a standard sample for me. So we'll choose standard grade, press the right arrow again, and it's asking you where do you want to store your sample. And by default it will always try and put it on the actual SPD-S itself. So you can see it says destination, I for internal, and the card light's not lit up. In all honesty, the amount of internal memory the SPD-S has got, most of the time you're going to be storing these samples on the card itself, plus it's easier to back up. So we'll press the card indicator so we know we're going to be storing the sample on the card, and you can see the destination lights up and says C. And it will give you the first empty bank that's available on your card. If you don't particularly wish to put it there, you can use the minus key and choose different banks, but we're going to put it there anyway. So our first empty one is 197. Press the right arrow again, and it says sure, and it gives you an example of what it's going to call the file itself. The SPD-S will choose the first 8 letters of the file name as its suggested name for your sample. If you want to change that, we can do it in the standard way by using the plus and minus keys to change the letter, and using the right arrow to change which particular letter you're changing. So we'll put this back and we'll just choose car horn, press enter, and you'll see it lights up and says now processing. This takes quite a while. If you've got a very long sample, this is the time to go and get a cup of coffee. But for short percussive samples it only takes a few seconds. You can see it's done it, it says continue, and you can press enter. You can now choose the next sample on the card by using the plus button. You can see it changes car start, and you can repeat the process. Unless you're going to be importing all your samples at different sample qualities, this is a bit time consuming. If you're going to import all your samples at the same rate, so all standard or all long, there's a much easier way of doing this rather than doing it one at a time, which is to use the plus button until you go past all the samples on the card, and it will show source all. Then you can use your right arrow, choose your grade, right arrow again, choose the destination for the first sample that's going to go in. All the other samples will just go into the banks consecutive to the one you choose. So in this case, make sure it's going into card. In our case, C198, press right, and it says import all, are you sure? We'll press enter. Again, you'll get now processing. And because we've got 3 samples, it will take a little bit longer this time to actually import them all. There we go. All done, and it goes back to where we started from. You can see once it's all imported, it's showing you the first sample that was imported, car horn into bank 198. And we can use the plus to check all the other ones have gone in. Now you can see there that what's actually happened is car horn's gone in at 198, car start's gone in at 199, but there was already a sample in bank 200 and bank 201. So it's put the third sample we imported has ended up in bank number 202, and then you can use them as normal.